Easy now, how are we all doing? How are you doing, Bri?
All right, you?
Yeah, I'm not bad. What are you saying? Newcastle above United?
We'll see.
That's Bri, he's a Newcastle fan. I'm Simon, I'm a Man United fan. And we spend all day, every day talking, arguing about football. So we thought, why not do some videos? So what we've done is we've predicted our Premier League tables. We're going to have a look at them. We've predicted top scorers, top assisters, and first managers to be sacked. So let's get into Bri's table. Just before we get onto Bri's table, there's levels of deludedness in football fans, isn't there?
There is, yeah.
Everyone is slightly deluded. I'm slightly deluded, but this guy, as you're probably about to see, is ridiculously deluded.
I think I've been fairly easy going with this.
Let's have a look.
So I've gone
Fucking hell.
for City top of the table. I can't see anyone beating them this season.
Spurs second.
Spurs, Conte he's done it with Chelsea. He knows the league. I think he's made some really good signings. Yeah. Liverpool, I've gone for third.
Right, I'll tell you what I'm going to do before. I'm quite impressed, actually. Well, that means that you've conceded that our bet.
I have, because we've not signed anybody.
Oh, we haven't really. What else have we got? Yeah, you see that bottom area. I've got it a bit of a different way around, but you can't really argue too much with that, can you?
No.
United 6th.
Yeah.
Arsenal 4th. How have I not seen that? I've only just.
Arsenal made some really good signings.
It's took me a minute to see that.
I'll tell you now, Jesus is going to be up there this season.
Yeah, but do you know the point I'll make to that? They had Aubameyang scoring goals.
No, they didn't. For about 6 months of last year, he was just.
Oh yeah, but I meant in the last 5 years.
Lacazette, he was awful.
Spurs second.
Martinelli came back in January.
Jesus,
he's a decent player.
I need to digest this. Villa, West Ham, Leicester, Wolves, Brighton. You see, from about 8th onwards, I don't think it's that dissimilar to mine, to be honest. In fact, it's almost identical. Bottom 3. Let's talk about the bottom 3. Yeah, you got Forest staying up.
I've got Forest staying up, yeah.
Forest.
They've made a few signings. I think they'll be all right. I think the Jesse Lingard one is a very stupid signing.
I was going to say that.
But I think they'll be all right, yeah.
The bottom 3, yeah, mine is similar. It's slightly different. I'll explain why later. That group of teams from literally 8th to 20th is very similar to what I've got, to be fair. But the top 6, I agree with City. Liverpool, just quickly on Liverpool fans, right? I'm going to have a bit of a rant here. So we spanked them 4-0 in pre-season, which I'm not celebrating.
I've been drew 2-2 with Aston Villa.
That's just happened, right? Yeah. But what I'm saying is, I aren't making too much of that. They'll probably spank us the first time they play us. But Liverpool fans were going absolutely mad. Oh, look at United fans, idiots, getting carried away, absolute mugs, it's pre-season. A week later, Darwin Núñez scores 4 goals. Yeah. They're sat there, drenched in their own spunk, posting all kinds of memes all over social media. It's absolutely ridiculous. I do still think Liverpool will finish second, though. I think they're comfortably the second best team in the league.
I think Spurs will do well. I think he's made some good signings.
You know my thing with Spurs, yeah?
They are bottlers, but I don't think Conte's a bottler.
Well, I don't think Conte's a bottler. He's a good manager, but I don't think Conte's far off a kick-off at Spurs. I think he's due an episode. If you look at what happened at Chelsea, he just walked out of Inter Milan because they don't give him any money. I think he's due a kick-off.
Yeah, but Spurs have backed him, to be fair.
Spurs have backed him. Yeah. I'm a bit... There's a lot of Spurs signings that I would have had at United, like Bissouma, Jed Spence. I'm not so sure about Richardson. So just a bit of a joke. There's a lad we work with called Jamie, and he's a nice lad, but he's a bit stupid. He gets everyone's name wrong. So how did it start?
Jason Park.
It started with Jason Park, didn't it? So as in Ji-Sung Park. No, it didn't. It started with Dynamo Kev.
It was.
We were talking about the Champions League, and he was like, "We're playing Dynamo Kev." Like, you mean Dynamo Kiev? There's another one, isn't there?
Kevin Lewis.
Calvin Lewin. But yeah, Richarlison is apparently Richardson. Anyway, we've rambled a bit there, haven't we? Do you know what? I honestly expected a lot worse from you.
I'm a knowledgeable man.
Arsenal aren't finishing fourth.
They are, I'm telling you now.
I do agree with you, Chelsea.
Yeah.
I'm not.
There's no goals in that
I've
team.
got some stats lined up for you later. City, I think I can't see City not winning it. not even because of Haaland. I think even if City didn't have Haaland, because if you look at City, the players they've let go, I don't think they're that bothered about it. Like Jesus, Zinchenko, who else did they let go? Somebody else.
Yeah, but they weren't starting 11
This is
players,
what I'm saying.
were they? Yeah.
But who else have they sold? They've sold someone else. Why can't I think of it? They have. They're never big. Oh, Sterling.
Oh, yeah,
That shows how
but
important
he didn't play very
But
much.
this is what I'm saying. So the players City have lost, they're not asked about, are they?
No.
Whereas I think Liverpool losing Mane, that's massive, isn't it?
Oh, 100%, yeah.
There's no way they wanted to lose Mahrez.
No.
Mahrez? Why have I said Mahrez?
They've got Mahrez, they've got Bernardo
Mane.
Silva, they've got
Mane.
Foden. I'm on about City.
I've completely lost it.
Mahrez, Foden, Bernardo Silva, De Bruyne, Haaland. They've still got 5 players to fit into that front three.
I'll tell
to
you who's
rotate.
mint and all, Rodri.
Rodri,
He's
yeah.
mint, he is. Let's talk about the bet a bit more then.
The best.
So you bet me, you said Newcastle will finish above United.
That's only the start of the season.
Yeah, well, this is the problem.
So
This...
what I'm saying is, in the January transfer window, hopefully we can push on a bit.
Do you think you'll sign anyone else in the remainder?
I'm not sure.
Because it's hard predicting it this
Yeah.
early, because we've still got, 6 weeks of the transfer window left.
I don't see... I think we might sign Paqueta from Lyon, but I can't see us getting a well-known
Do you know what
striker.
worries me about Newcastle? And I mean this from a United point of view. There seems to be some kind of structure as to what you're doing. So if you'd have gone out and signed, gave Pogba a massive contract and signed Neymar,
Just give people what they want.
I'd have probably been a bit like, well, they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
But what you're actually doing, it seems like you know what you're doing, like it's a plan. Because City didn't go straight from Paul Dickov and Sean Goethe to Sergio Aguero.
It is very similar. Yeah,
and like, if you look at the
similar.
signings you've made, they've all made an impact. Like Trippier come in, I know he got injured, but straight away he was doing well. Bruno took a while, but he's doing well. Is it Matt Target at left back?
Matt Target, he went slotted straight in. Really
Dan
well,
Burn, I mean, I laughed when you signed Dan Burn.
Yeah.
He's clearly done a good job for you. So I think if you just keep adding decent players, Botman, I think he's a good signing for you.
He looks good.
I'm not sure about your keeper. Who's going to be number one?
Pope will be number one.
Do you think he'll be number one?
Yeah.
Because you were linked. I was convinced you were going to sign Dean Henderson, and that never happened.
No.
I don't know if
yeah.
that's either United wanting too much money and you not wanting to pay it, or I mean, Dean Henderson's on like 140 grand a week as a backup goalkeeper.
I don't know what they paid for Pope. I think it was only
10
about 10 million.
10
yeah.
million.
So, and he's ahead of Henderson in the England team. So,
Yeah, but again, a solid signing. So yeah, maybe
it's
it will.
literally. I'm just worried about attack.
Yeah,
when
I mean,
Callum Wilson gets injured, we're going to struggle.
I'm just going to run through this. City first, I agree with. Spurs, I don't see. I think Liverpool will be comfortably second. I don't see Arsenal that high. Chelsea, I think I've got Chelsea fifth actually, or maybe fourth. I can't remember. We're obviously going to win the quadruple, so you're miles out there.
And he says I'm deluded.
Oh no, I'm not saying that at all. I do think. I mean, we can't be any worse, can we? The thing from a United point of view is we literally cannot get any
Well, I've
worse.
improved it. You were seventh.
No, we were sixth. Europa League. It's all about the Europa League. No one cares about Champions League. Right, so now we're going to talk about who we think is going to be top scorers. Who are you going with, Bri?
For me, it's got to be Haaland. I've done a bit of looking into this to try and back it up. So research, yeah. In the German league, basically, he scored 1 in 4 shots, with not getting the service that he gets from City. Now, City last year in the Premier League created 108 chances on goal.
This is research.
So,
You've gone way further than I thought.
So if Haaland carries on his conversion rate for City, and City create the amount of chances that they created last year, he'll score 27 league goals, whereas Salah only scored 23 this year. But I think he'll convert a lot more chances because he'll be getting a lot more of the ball from De Bruyne and people like that.
City put it on an absolute play. Like, if you look at Raheem Sterling, so many of his goals are just put on an absolute plate. Like me and you could score. Well,
exactly.
Not. I'd pull an hamstring.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do agree. I think it's close. Like Haaland, Kane, Salah. I think they'll all be close. Ronaldo, I don't think is playing for United next year.
I don't think so. No,
he's
he's
gone.
going.
he'll probably sign a new deal tomorrow now. I've said
Yeah.
that. There's loads of Nunes could come in and do well. Jamie Vardy, he's going to score a few goals. I think Jesus will score goals.
Martial after pre-season.
Well, I forgot how to think. Well, the problem is he's going to get signed for Real Madrid for 200 million isn't he, now. No, it's not. I don't think any United player is going to get it. I've gone with Harry Kane.
Solid shout, isn't it? Yeah.
It's one of them.
All he does is shoot.
Well, exactly. The reason I say it is, I don't think Haaland's taking penalties at City. I think De Bruyne is.
Yeah.
Although Salah will take penalties at Liverpool, so I couldn't pick between Salah and Kane. The reason I say Kane is because Spurs have always been set up purely for Kane and Son.
Yeah, no, I get that.
And even more so under Conte, it is literally keep it tight through defence and midfield and let the front three or the front two do that. And if you look at Kane, he still scored a lot of goals last season, but that was after the Euros where he was knackered. Yeah. He then thought he was going to City. He then had Nuno Espirito Santo telling him what to do.
Well,
and he had a bit of a bad start. I think now he will score goals, but I think it'll be very close.
Can I just say though, Norway aren't at the World Cup.
Are they not?
And England are. So Haaland's going to be a lot fresher than Kane as well after Christmas.
I thought I'd prepared for this. You've done some good research. But yeah, I don't think. But Salah, Haaland, and Kane. I can't see anyone else really doing it. But yeah, what about top assisters?
Top assisters, I've gone for De Bruyne. He's far and away the best in the Premier League at what he does.
He is mint.
Yeah, I've not really got a lot to say on it. You watch the guy, and that's why. Yeah.
Again, I think there's 2 or 3 players in there like De Bruyne. Salah always gets assists. Kane,
he's greedy though.
He is greedy. Yeah. Kane, Son, they're always in the assists.
Yeah.
I look at Chelsea and I think there's no going forward for Chelsea. There's no one consistent. You look at like Pulisic, Havertz, Werner, whatever his name is, and there's another one, Ziyech. There's no one like. I suppose Mount's probably their most consistent player, but he's not getting 20 assists, is he?
The problem with Chelsea is no one in that team ever puts a run together.
No, they're not.
They're constantly rotating. I don't think Tuchel still knows what his best attacking threats are.
100%.
And Lukaku, he's gone now. They've not replaced him.
That's mad. People laugh about United wasting money. Yeah. That is mad. That is 100 million to send him back on loan. I think they got 6 million on a loan fee.
And not to sign another striker to replace him.
I do think strikers are a bit of a dying breed, though. Like, it's a lot of teams. This is why I was a bit worried about Haaland at City, because Pep, for a long time, hadn't really played with an out-and-out striker. He's going to have to now, obviously. Anyway, I've gone... you're going to laugh at this.
I know you.
Slightly biased. Who are you going to say?
Bruno Fernandes.
No, I am actually.
Oh, no.
I am. Bruno's proper toned it down pre-season. Like, he's proper playing like sensible, keep the ball ticking over football.
I don't know then. Sancho?
I have gone Sancho, yeah. He is absolutely on fire pre-season.
He is, but he's scoring. He's not assisting.
He's got a couple of assists. In Germany, and again it's in Germany, but you've got Haaland based off Germany. Yeah. So he got 20 assists in his last 3 seasons, every season. He is mint, and he's so unselfish. I think last year...
What happened with him last year?
Well, what happened with any United player last year? Do you know, it was coming under Solskjaer. It was coming. We had a style of play that worked, and then I think as we tried to change it to like more possession based and brought more stars in, it just fell apart a bit. Signing Ronaldo, I think, caused problems.
It upset.
I don't mean Ronaldo as a player. I don't think you can question Ronaldo as a player and his attitude and his work rate. Yeah. Not even his ego. What I mean is, like, we'd never planned to sign Ronaldo. Like, he was a last-minute thing because we didn't want him to go to City, which I think he would have gone to City because he's on about going to Atletico Madrid, so I wouldn't even question it. But we begged Cavani to stay. He stayed, and then Ronaldo come in. We promised Lingard, Rashford, Martial game time.
Never delivered.
Obviously, if Ronaldo's playing, you've basically got one position tied up, so then you've got 2 wide players, haven't you? Yeah. And rather than 6 players fighting for 3 positions, you've got 6 players fighting for 2 positions. And I think it upset. We couldn't. I don't care what you say. You cannot press with a 38-year-old striker.
Well, I just want to say maybe you're right with Sancho because now he'll have more space because Ronaldo just stood
They
there in
occupied
the
the
box
space.
all the time.
So when we had
Yeah.
the season before, we scored about 45 more goals because we had Rashford, Martial, Greenwood
Moving about.
constantly. And when we did play with a focal point, Cavani, his work rate and
Oh, his
pressing was
positioning,
ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I have gone with Sancho because I think under Ten Hag, we're going to have the ball a lot more. We're going to be far higher up the pitch. I probably am been a bit deluded.
I think
there.
you have been a bit deluded.
Well, we will see. We will see.
He might be your best assister, but I don't think he'll be the Premier League.
If you look at De
assister.
Bruyne, he doesn't get a ridiculous amount of assists.
Yes, he does.
He didn't last year. He was nowhere near.
Who was it last year?
Was it Salah, wasn't it?
Was it Salah?
I'm
I
sorry,
thought
it
it
was
was Son,
Salah.
wasn't it?
No, Salah and Son were joint top scorers, but I'm sure
Right,
Salah had the
yeah.
most assists. Probably going to
We'll
make
see.
a fool of ourselves
Yeah.
there. What about first managers to be sacked?
It's Lampard. Yeah.
Oh, I was close. Either Ralph Hasselhouten or Lampard.
Well,
I couldn't pick. I've gone with Ralph.
they were my two, but I've gone with Lampard. Basically, Everton, I mean, I've put them 16th. I could see them struggling even more,
Yeah.
and I might be getting a lot of hatred for this. They scored 43 goals all season last season.
I don't think we scored much more.
Well, Richarlison scored 10 of them, and he's gone. So that's
So
a
the
quarter
quarter
of
of
their
the
goals
goals, isn't it?
gone,
Yeah.
which they've not replaced anybody with. They're all saying, oh, Calvert-Lewin had problems last season. He played 17 games and scored 5 goals. That's not good enough at all.
Everton, for me, are the biggest mishmash of players.
They are.
Like there's no philosophy off it. It's just like they've got so many different types of mishmash players. I'm not convinced Lampard's a great manager. Either, to be
That
honest.
is what I was going to get onto next. Since he's took over, there's been no change in style of play. They've just struggled, picked up a couple of lucky wins, like when the guy cable tied himself to the post against Newcastle, and they got an extra half an hour to score.
They beat us, but I mean, we were bad.
Yeah, well, that you was going through turmoil then, weren't you?
We were bad. I have gone Ralph Hasselhoeten though.
Yeah, I that was my second choice.
He
yeah.
went as Southampton manager. He has been bent over and bummed like 7-8-9-0, no end of times. Like,
And got away with it,
we
yeah.
beat them 9-1, I think it was.
Yeah.
They got 1 point in the last 5 league games in the Premier League. I actually thought they would probably sack him at the end of last season, but they hadn't. Again, their squad, there's 2 or 3 decent players in it, but I think I've got him to stay up, but I think he'll get sacked and someone else will kick. Right now we've done that, I'm going to show Brian my table and see what he makes of it.
Well, that's already a joke. 9th.
I think 9th would be good for you. I think 9th would be a good season for you.
Can you tell me how West Ham and Leicester are going to be?
I can tell you why, yeah. Because one thing as a Newcastle, and by the way, I like Newcastle. I've got nothing against. When have I ever said out negative about Newcastle? I don't.
Yeah.
Some of my earliest memories of football have been Newcastle with Albert, Chipping Schmeichel, the 5-0 hammering, Keegan saying I would love it. Like
the good times are returning.
They probably are. Hopefully they are. As a United fan, I don't feel there's any kind of hatred towards Newcastle any way, shape or form.
I don't think any club does, to be fair.
No, they're well liked.
Yeah.
The reason I've got you 9th is because this time last year you were going down.
We were.
Obviously,
and look at what happened.
Yeah, exactly. You had the investment. I like Eddie Howe. I like your signings. But you've only got to look at Leeds and Everton. A couple of bad results, a couple of injuries. It can have you down there. And I think...
Yeah, I do get that.
I think rather than sort of looking up, you still have to be a bit wareful of what might happen. Why I've got you 9th is because I think you are going to be better than teams like Brighton, Wolves, Villa, Leeds, everyone below it. But I look at the teams above and I think Leicester have got a decent squad. I think Brendan Rodgers, I don't think Eddie Howe is better than Brendan Rodgers. I think they're probably similar, to be fair.
They are very similar, yeah.
David Moyes, I think he's doing a good... West Ham have got some good
That's a
players.
one-season wonder, that, I'm telling you now.
They've got some good players.
Whereas I got them 9th. So I basically swapped.
You've swapped,
yeah.
haven't you? But I still think for your first season under a takeover, a solid 9th, nowhere near a relegation
I'll take
battle.
it, yeah. Anyone would take
and that's
it.
not me being just...
Yeah.
I think it's just... I think the top 6 is going to be very hard for anyone to break into this season. But yeah, that's where I've got... At the bottom, it's very similar to yours, isn't it? Bournemouth going down.
Fulham and Forest, yeah.
I really like Forest. Like, you know how much
Yeah.
I've been banging on. I mean, I've watched Forest the last 18 months because Garner's been on loan there. the thing that makes me worried about Forest, and I really want Forest to stay up, is when you come to the Premier League, I think the first thing you need to do is keep your team together.
And they've made a lot of changes.
From what I saw, and any Forest fan can correct me on this, I probably watched them 20 times in the last year and a half, which isn't that much. But their best 4 players have been Jed Spence, Brennan Johnson.
He's still there, though, isn't he?
Well, this is the point.
Yeah.
James Garner and Philip Zinkernagel, who was like a number 10 stroke third midfielder. They've lost 3 of that 4.
Why, where's that other one gone?
Zinkernagel, he was on loan. I think he's gone to Olympiacos. Garner's, I think there's a chance they might get Garner back on loan because he's been injured and players like Charlie Savage and Iqbal have come in.
Savage ain't good enough.
No, he's not. But what I'm saying is I think we're going to sign a midfielder. I think Garner might go back on loan again, and if he goes to Forest, I think they'll be happy with
if he does, that's where it'll
But they've lost Jed Spence. I know they've brought in Williams from Liverpool, haven't they? But I don't think they've upgraded.
No.
And they have signed a lot of players, but they have lost 3 of the best players as well. And I hope they do stay up, but I just think it might be a lot to bed a lot of players in first in the Premier League.
Yeah.
The reason I've got Fulham staying up is because they won the Championship. I know you can't look too much into that, but I mean, you'll have a lot to say on this because Mitrovic.
He doesn't do it in the Premier League.
No, but
he's not mobile enough.
There comes a point where he might. I mean, do you know the Championship? What do you think the Championship top scorer? So the record for the top goals in a Championship season was?
Well, he got it, didn't he?
Yeah, but before.
Was it like 35?
No, it was 31.
31.
By Ivan Toney last season. In fact, I think he drew. I want to say Glenn Murray, but that might be wrong. But it was 31.
That rings a bell, yeah.
He got 43.
I know he scored a lot.
That's a massive. I don't see how he comes into the Premier League and doesn't score at least 14 goals.
But just going off on a tangent here, when we want to watch Hull, the Championship is long ball football.
Yeah, it is a bit, yeah.
There's not much passing and movement, which is Mitrovic's style of play. You hoof it up to him, he wins a flick on, or he brings it down and finishes. The Premier League, he's not got the movement, and from watching Newcastle years ago when he was there, he's static. He only moves when the ball's coming into the box.
Well, you've seen him more, so I have to trust you.
Yeah, Fulham are going down. Yeah.
But again, I mean, if you look at my sort of bottom half, it's very, very similar to what you've got. I don't think Villa, I know they drew with us today, but again, it's pre-season. I'm not convinced
I
with
think
them.
he's going to do a bit of a job with them.
I'm actually looking at that, and I think I've got Everton a bit too high.
I
think they're going to struggle.
Yeah.
I think Southampton, Leeds. I think Leeds will stay up. They had ridiculous injuries last year.
Yeah, they did. I mean, the loss of Phillips is pretty big.
Yeah, and not Richarlison, Rafinha.
They might be losing Harrison as well.
Yeah.
We're linked with him.
They could be in trouble.
They could be. Maybe I've got them a bit high on mine.
What about the top then? What are you saying about the top?
Well, I don't think you're finishing above Spurs at all.
Well, I've got some stats to back this up, actually.
Right.
City will win the league, I think.
Yeah,
which
we both agree on that.
The top 2 will be City and Liverpool. I think Liverpool are comfortably still the second best. As much as it hurts me to say, I think they'll miss Mane, but I think they're comfortably still the second best team.
They're going through a rebuild, and it's whether it clicks or not.
It's a couple of injuries.
Yeah.
I still think they'll be comfortably second. And if I sat here with a Liverpool fan, I wouldn't argue if they said they were going to win the league. I think they could still win the league. But which is a United fan, that's ace in it when the top 2 teams are City and Liverpool.
Yeah.
I just love it. Right, so I'm gonna go through the teams that we're above in terms of the top 6. So Arsenal, in fact, let me ask you, I've got some questions lined up for you, yeah?
Okay.
And this will make you open your eyes. So if I said to you, sum United up over the last 5 years, have they been amazing, shocking, good, average? Just in a word that comes in your head, what would you say?
Average.
Yeah, and I would say you've probably been kind to us.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sat here saying we've been great.
Yeah.
I'm sat here saying average is probably about where we've been, especially by our standards.
Yeah.
My next question, yeah? Bearing in mind, every season people have Chelsea as contending for the league, or Chelsea are going to win the league, or they're going to be up there, they're going to contend. Last season, after they won the Champions League and they signed Lukaku, a lot of people were saying it's Chelsea's league.
I think I was, to be fair.
I think you was. And it was someone on TalkSport, I can't remember who, but they were going mad saying that it's Chelsea's going to win the league. And they didn't.
No.
But every year they have Chelsea as up there. So if I asked you, so last season Chelsea finished 16 points above United, yeah? So if I asked you off the top of your head over the last 5 years, bearing in mind you've said that United have been average, which I agree with. If I asked you over the last 5 years how many more Premier League points Chelsea have won than United, how many would you say?
Well, they finished 16 above
It was
them
16 last
season.
year alone.
I'll probably only say about 32, 33.
4 points. So
What, you finished above Chelsea?
No. They've got, over the last 5 years, they've only won 4 Premier League points more than United. But everyone has Chelsea up there every single season.
Well, then you must have finished above them to close that 16
This is my next
gap,
point.
yeah.
So, in the last 5 years, we have finished above Chelsea more than they finished above us. And that was with an apparent PE teacher manager who didn't have a clue. Who, I think that's a bit strong, but he's not the greatest manager.
No.
So my point I'm making is, we have been bad, but apart from City and Liverpool, and by the way, in that time, we finished above the greatest Liverpool team of all time twice as well.
What, in the last 5 years?
In the last 5 years. Last year, well, not last
You
year.
come second with Mourinho.
Yeah, which was above them.
Yeah.
And we finished second under Ollie, didn't we?
Did you?
Yeah, I know Liverpool had all the injuries, but everyone gets injuries. So, and this isn't me saying United are better than Liverpool. We're clearly nowhere near. But what I'm saying is, over the last 5 years, United have been the best of the rest, which, as a United fan, is still an embarrassment, but that's just where we are. We've finished above Spurs more than they finished above us. We've finished above Arsenal. So Arsenal, right, their highest position in the last 5 years is 5th.
They've been poor, yeah.
5th. And I'm not convinced Arteta is any different to Solskjaer.
I think he's got a lot more knowledge of the game than Solskjaer.
Well, or based off what? They absolutely...
Based off what?
They absolutely bottled
He
it
was
last
Pep's
year.
assistant for
Oh, God,
how
Jesus
long?
Christ. How many assistants has Fergie had? Steve McLaren.
Well, Arsenal,
Carlos
I'm
Queiroz.
telling you now, Arsenal will be 4th this year.
I disagree.
Yeah. They're playing good football. They've got good players coming through. Saka, Martinelli, Jesus, he's going to hit the ground running. He's a perfect Arsenal player, he is.
Yeah, I do like
Yeah,
Jesus.
yeah.
He is a
If he was at any team, well, he is now, that wasn't Man City, people would be raving about him. I'll tell you now.
But another point I will make is Chelsea's highest position in the last 5 years has been 3rd.
Yeah. Well, we've both got Chelsea below that.
Yeah, I think Chelsea under Thomas Tuchel, he's a good manager, don't get me wrong, but in my opinion, he's nowhere near Pep, Klopp, Ancelotti, people like. He's a bit of a cup manager. In 15 years of management, he's won 2 league titles at PSG.
No one's really heard of him until the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, he did. He was all right. I think he was at Dortmund, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, I don't think he can take them past Liverpool and City.
No, not at all.
Also, Spurs. Spurs finished top 4 last year. I do like Conte. Is mint.
He's
I
a
do
very
like
good
Conte.
manager. Very good.
But
manager.
what I will say, did Spurs finish 4th because they were amazing last year, or did they finish 4th because United were an embarrassment and Arsenal absolutely bottled it in the last 3 games of the season?
Well, they probably did finish because you bottled it, because they had a really poor run of form. Because they were up there at the start of the season, I'm sure they were.
No, that was the season before with Jose, wasn't it? They had Nuno this year, and he just didn't.
Oh no, it wasn't it?
wasn't working
Yeah.
from the start, was it?
Yeah.
But I do like Conte, and when we were going to sack Solskjaer, a lot of people wanted Conte at United.
Yeah.
A lot of United fans didn't want him, and I worry that he doesn't ever seem any longer than 5 minutes away from the kickoff. Like him and Daniel Levy are going to blow heads at one point.
They will, but I think he'll do well enough this year to avoid that. I honestly think he's made some very good signings, proven signings as well.
Right, so my next point about United finishing 3rd. Ten Hag is mint.
How?
I know what you're going to say. It's from Holland.
It's from a Mickey Mouse Dutch
Well,
league.
can I just say this, yeah? Here's a question for you, yeah? So, in the 20 seasons before Ten Hag managed Ajax, how many Eredivisie do you think Ajax won?
In the 20 seasons.
So 20
before.
seasons before he took over.
I don't follow Mickey Mouse.
No,
leagues,
just but just have a guess.
5 or 6.
Oh, well, that's backfired, hasn't it? Yeah, it's 6. I thought you were going to say like 18 or something.
No.
But the point is that Ajax, although they've got this big reputation and they are a massive club in that league, they don't dominate like a Bayern Munich or a Celtic or a PSG.
Well, it's because they don't go out and buy players. They always bring them through in the youth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I can't think of a manager of the last 5-6 years who has improved and made more top quality players than Ten Hag. They'd not won the league for 5 years before Ten Hag won 3 in a row. And not only that, I'm not really basing it off what he's done in Holland, because you are right, it is a bit hard to base. What he's done in the Champions League is impressive.
I'll give you. I mean, Van der Beek, De Ligt, De Jong.
So he got
that's a good spine.
He got to the semi-final. Should have beat Spurs really, but they knocked out Juve. They knocked out Real Madrid. They spanked Real Madrid, and he had that team ripped apart. De Ligt went, De Jong went, Ziyech went, Van der Beek went, somebody else went. Can't think. And then he rebuilt. This is whilst winning 3 league titles in a row. He then rebuilt another team which won all 6 Champions League group games. Last year they won all 6 group stage games. They spanked Dortmund twice with the almighty Erling Haaland.
Yeah.
So I think, if we can finish 3rd and 2nd under Solskjaer, and I know circumstances, but everybody said Solskjaer was a terrible manager, PE teacher is only there because of the club. If that is true, that means we've still got some pretty good players then. Because to finish 2nd and 3rd, I know Liverpool had a lot of injuries, but there was no real... Chelsea had a transfer ban, but not for 5 years. It was one summer, and the amount of money they spent, they should be able to get away with that. So I look at it and I think, if Solskjaer can do that, surely Ten Hag can do that.
I think you'll be Pogba. I think him going is a big asset to you. To be fair,
Massive.
He's not a presser at all. He walks around the pitch thinking he's the big I am.
We've lost a lot of players that it's going to be beneficial. So Mata and Matic were way past the best, but I can't question their commitment or passion or professionalism. They never caused a problem. They were just past the best. Whereas people like, I think Cavani started causing a problem, but probably rightly so. We begged him to stay when he wanted to leave, and then we didn't play him. We signed Ronaldo. So I can see why he's probably a bit arsey. I would be. Lingard and Pogba, I think, to the players, the younger players, especially Rashford, I think them two have rubbed off on Rashford a lot.
Yeah.
I think with them two gone, Rashford's a completely different player. And I just think that getting rid of them types of players, we will benefit from. We've obviously got a lot to do. I do think we will sign De Jong. I'll go into why in a different video. I do think we'll lose Ronaldo. If Ronaldo says he's leaving, he's leaving.
Yeah.
And I think it's best for everyone if Ronaldo goes. He wants to play Champions League football.
So that'll be the key reason he leaves. Yeah.
Ten Hag wants to press. It just makes sense for it. We'll get an absolute fortune off the wage bill, which the Glazers will absolutely cream over. So I do think that will happen. But it's hard doing this when there's still 6 weeks of the transfer left. Or what I will say is, though, I don't think there's going to be many clubs that do mad signings that haven't been linked with. No. So like you've been linked with players, you might get them over the line. We've been linked with players. Chelsea have been linked with players. I don't think there's going to be a mad signing out of the blue.
I can't see a mad signing from anyone, to be fair. I don't think there's going to be a lot more happening.
No, I think there probably will, but not like there's not going to be any like Benzema to Newcastle type deals or anything like that. So I think anything that will happen, we will have heard stuff about already. So I think on the Dutch league, I do get what you're saying. It's not the greatest league, but there's been a hell of a lot of great Dutch players playing the Premier League.
Oh, there has, yeah.
My perfect example of this, 2011, Liverpool signed Andy Carroll, who you'll know a lot about.
Yeah.
Premier League proven, English from a Premier League team, scored goals in the Premier League. I think they paid 35 million.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, madness. In the same year, they signed Luis Suarez from the Dutch league.
They did.
Unproven. He scored a load of goals in Holland. Who was the better player?
Well, you're always going to get that, aren't you?
I know that is an isolated incident, but what I'm saying is the Dutch football isn't the joke that people... For instance, like Pep Guardiola, everyone says Pep Guardiola is the best manager on earth. City play amazing football, Barcelona play amazing football. Where did that all stem from?
Well, total football.
Total football, created by Johan Cruyff, a Dutchman in the Dutch league.
Yeah.
Look at some of the great... I mean, if you listed Ronaldo, the original Ronaldo, the best player I've ever seen play. Yeah, he started in Holland. Like it's not like it's
cream always rises to the top.
But this is the point I will make. So it's not like we've raided San Marino and we've took San Marino's manager and 4 San Marino players. Like people, whether they're from Holland, Germany, Italy, Scotland, Scunthorpe, they flop or make it because they're good enough, not because of their league. So if Ten Hag flops, it's not because he's come from Ajax, it's because he's not good enough.
Exactly.
And if he
100%,
excels, it's not because he's come from Ajax, it's come from... And the players we're signing, they may work, they may not, but it won't be because they are Dutch or Dutch-based. It will be because they aren't good enough.
But what I'm saying is, it's easier to make it in the Dutch league than it is in the Premier League. 100%.
Yeah, well, of course it is. Yeah, that's
I
a
mean,
no-brainer.
Just going back to our tables, them top 6, there's about 2 teams in Holland.
Yeah, it is. But I'm basing my Ten Hag theory more on what he's done in the Champions League.
Yeah, I understand that, yeah.
So what we're saying is United will finish above Newcastle.
At this current moment in time, yes.
You owe me 20 quid.
Well, no, because it's not the end of the season yet, is it?
No, but in your head you are saying...
In my head at the minute...
Do you know what I will say is, take you out of this, I've had so many bets with people that genuinely think Newcastle will do better than United this year, and it's not just Newcastle fans. A Liverpool fan has bet me, and I won't mention his name, that Newcastle and West Ham will both finish above United. So it's not just you.
Yeah,
there is a lot of feeling that Newcastle will finish above United.
I did get a bit excited. I thought we were going to make a lot more signings than what we did. If we still stick to this team, make no signings, I can see us getting a solid 7th or 8th, which is where I predicted us. But yeah, if we don't get a striker and maybe another decent midfielder, I can't see us pushing on this season.
Right, so on to Newcastle. What I don't understand is, I did think you'd do a bit of a madness in the transfer window.
So did I, yeah.
But I don't mean like going out and trying to sign Griezmann or giving Pogba a fat contract. I thought you would go out and maybe get Calvin Phillips and Dominic Calvert-Lewin and people of that next category. But I think what you're doing is right. The thing that worries me, well, not worries me because it's none of my concern really, is you don't want to overpay, which is good. But I think what I don't agree with is overpaying players. So like that Hugo Ekitike or whatever his name is.
PSG, yeah.
I think what you've done there is good. So you agreed a deal with the club, and then he wanted mad wages. As far as I'm concerned, he wanted mad wages.
And he's not even proven
exactly.
himself as a
and
player
you said no, not a chance.
Yeah.
Which I think that is what you should be doing.
Yeah.
If it's the other way around, let's say you spoke to Ekitike's agent, and this is how it works. You've always spoke to the agent first. And he said, yeah, I'm happy to come for X amount, I just want to play for you. And then the club have tried having your pants down. I think it's a bit different. Because A, the player's committed, and at the end of the day, you want something that they don't want to sell.
Yeah.
So every club will overpay. Look at Liverpool, they've paid loads for Darwin Núñez. He may or may not work. It's a bit different with Haaland because there was a release clause. Although what people don't realise about that Haaland deal is, it's not just the release clause, it's his signing on fee, it's his dad's signing on fee.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of, like, anyone who thinks City are paying 50 million for Haaland,
yeah.
it's just not true.
Yeah.
But I did think you'd do a lot more in the transfer market. And if it's clubs wanting more money out of you, I think you might have to just say, as long as it's not ridiculous, yeah, but then as long as the players, because this is the problem we've got, it's the players who are taking the absolute mick, that wanting mad money. And the minute we signed Sanchez on 400 grand a week, it just screwed everything. Because then what happens is it gives the likes of Phil Jones and Jesse Lingard
the rights to go in and get 120 grand a week. Yeah.
I'm not as good as Sanchez. I don't want as much as Sanchez, but I do want half of what he's on.
Yeah.
And then that is what happens. But yeah, I think you'll have a solid season. Just a quick one. We are doing a fantasy Premier League competition. Is that what you would call it?
Competition.
What is it?
League.
A league, isn't it? Yeah. Just through the Premier League app. The code's on the screen now. If anyone wants to join, please join. The only thing we ask is if you subscribe to it, to the channel, just to support us. If we get more than 50 teams in it, I will give the winner 50 quid out of my own pocket.
You're a generous man.
I am a generous man. You didn't even know I was going to do that, did you?
No.
Well, I'm going to win anyway, so it doesn't really matter,
not
does
really,
it?
No. We'll do another show on our teams for that.
Yeah, so we need 50 members in it. Everyone subscribe to the channel, and then whoever wins, I will give 50 quid out of my own pocket too. We might do, if we get a few people watching, we might do like a weekly shout out as to who's top and who's like won the most points that week, things like that. Get some banter, yeah. And this is all just a bit of light-hearted banter. We're just a couple of sad old men, really, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're not after being famous, but we do want to be millionaires. No, that's a joke. So yeah, if everyone could like, share, comment with what you think, and
get involved.
Get involved.
Yeah.
We don't want any haters. We don't want any abuse, but any light-hearted banter is welcome. And we'll catch you next week. I think next week we're going to do a video on Combined 11, aren't we?
Yeah.
Newcastle and United and Sue's.
This will be fun.
Yeah. Hopefully some transfers.
Yeah, a lot could change in a week, hopefully, yeah.
But yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next week.